I'm Matthew Dank, and this is Service and Beyond podcast, where we talk to Australian military veterans about their service stories and their journeys out of uniform and back to civilian life. This series charts the journey of current and former INVICTUS athletes from 4 countries, covering their military careers, their deployment histories, and the injuries they suffered. We talk about their experience of life-changing injury and their remarkable physical and emotional recovery through training and competing in adaptive sports and through the INVICTUS Games movement. This series also tells the story of the families of these former service personnel, their shared pain and trauma, and the path through hardship, and the bonds and friendships they formed through their involvement with the INVICTUS Games. Today's episode features Stefan Huss and his partner Evelyn, and it features their story of service with the German Armed Forces, or Bundeswehr, an encounter in 2013 from which Stefan contracted PTSD, and the role of sports and the INVICTUS movement in their recovery through to this day. Stefan is still a serving sergeant of the Bundeswehr, and after his second Afghanistan mission in 2013, he developed post-traumatic stress disorder. His treatment and recovery for this condition included sports therapy, and he's become fully operational and deployable once again following this, and gone on to specialise in the delivery of sports recovery himself for the German Army. Since that period, he has also become a champion of mental health for current and former serving members. In 2017, Stefan was appointed to the team for the INVICTUS Games in Toronto, and he was elected team captain for the 2018 Games in Sydney. As one of 3 ambassadors, Stefan is the face of the INVICTUS Games Düsseldorf 2023. In this episode, we also touch on the ongoing discussions and debate within German society around a National Day of Recognition and Commemoration for German veterans and service personnel. The legacy of Germany's history in World War I and World War II still features heavily in public debate. However, there's a new generation of German service personnel who've served in a range of conflicts from 1991 onwards, including Kosovo, Mali, the Horn of Africa, and Afghanistan conflicts, with about 300,000 soldiers serving abroad and over 100 troops losing their life in that time. INVICTUS Games Düsseldorf 2023 marks an important milestone from which further conversations are sure to follow. And lastly, this is the only episode in this series in which we're joined by a partner, Stefan's lovely wife, Evelyn. We hear her experience of Stefan's time in the Bundeswehr and the positive impact and transforming experience that has been the INVICTUS Games movement for Evelyn, for their 2 children, and for the family as a whole. This episode was recorded on Tuesday, the 5th of September, 2023. Enjoy the show with Stefan and Evelyn Huss. So today I'm really excited to have 2 guests on the series here to round up the episode 5 in the series on the INVICTUS Games for 2023, and that's Stefan and Evelyn Huss. Stefan's a veteran of over 20 years service with the German military, or the Bundeswehr. He's been involved deeply in the INVICTUS Games since 2017, back at Toronto 2018, where he was the Games captain for Germany in Sydney. Graciously in 2022, he offered his spot on the team to another competitor, and this year he is the ambassador for the 2023 Düsseldorf Games and has a very important role to play and a very important message to send today, which we'll get onto shortly. So, Stefan and Evelyn, welcome to the show.
Hello, Matt, and thank you for the invitation for this podcast.
No, you're very welcome. Hi, and look, it's great to have you on. I know this is an important episode for you, and I know this is an important episode for Germany, what you're going through at the moment in terms of veteran recognition. So really glad to have you 2 on and feature your story. So, Stefan, we might start with your career, where you started out in terms of joining the Bundeswehr and the German Army way back in 2001.
Yes, I started my military career in 2001, and after 10 months I decided to stay in the army for the next 12 years. And in the year 2007, I was promoted to a professional soldier. So I stay in the military till 2036. And after that, I get retired.
Yeah, thank you. So your initial time with the Bundeswehr, you were actually drafted in 2001. You served the first initial years as a conscript or a draftee?
Yes, as a conscript.
And then,
so, sorry, Matt.
No, you're right. You're right. Go ahead.
Okay. Yes. in these days you have to go to the army, but things changed after the years. So now you don't have to go to the army. But both systems have their pros and contras. But I think the job is the same, and we do our job with passion, and that's the important thing for me.
And your time in the army has been mostly in the infantry. That's what you first specialised in when you joined?
Yes, that's right. I started as a normal soldier. After that, I was promoted to a group leader. After that, to the platoon leader. And so the career goes on. And after that, I was not a drill sergeant, is not correct, but an instructor of the paratroop school. And after that, I changed to the school for special operations. Then after the last mission in 2013, I changed to a military policeman. And now I'm I'm in a complete other position. I'm a trainer for sports for the soldiers now in the barracks in Dilling.
And Evelyn, I understand yourself and Stefan first met between his deployments, actually, so around 2009, after he'd been in the army already for some years.
Because he was in Afghanistan in 2007, and he was really normal.
I was really normal.
He was really normal.
What is normal?
Because you have to know, Stefan and me, we knew us from school since we were 13, 14.
Yeah.
Because I was in the class of my girlfriend, a friend of mine. And in 2009, we met us again. Yes, and we get together and everything is nice. And the army is a part of us. We have a lot of friends there, and from the really beginning, we have it's a family for me. The army and the soldiers, friends from us. You be a part of it because the other guys from his comrades, yes, are friends of mine, and we are also friends just in time. Yes, it's a part of our life at the army. Yes,
it is.
And when he came home from the last deployment, when he came home from the last deployment, there was something wrong with him. He was not the same.
And Stefan, that was your first deployment, 2007. Your second one in 2013.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and you were part of an engagement there with an attack on, I think it was the German embassy in Kabul. Was that right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's right. But the complete mission was really difficult for us, not only for the Germans, also for the other nations. In 2013, Hamid Karzai was the last president, and they will get a new one. So, yeah, it was really dangerous at that time in Kabul. So a lot of things happened there, and after I get back, in the first way, everything was okay for me, and I was okay, I think. But after that time, I realized that not everything is okay. I was really angry. I can't go to concerts anymore or to a big group of guys. and that was strange for me. And for me, it was important. I said to myself, I have a line, and this line is, if I come back and I have problems with the family life, I will go to the doctor and look for some help. And the time when I realized that I really have a problem was really simple. We were at a birthday party, and my last first sergeant said to me after some discussions with me and Evelyn, Stefan, you need help. And that was the point in my life where I went to the doctor and said, sorry, but I need really help.
And Evelyn, for you, what were the things you were seeing in Stefan when he came back that really, told you and you got the signs? And what were the things that concerned you? And when did you know that Stefan needed help?
Before he was deployed, we are really happy together and have no disputes. And after he came home, we are always on
Quarrel?
Yes.
Yeah. Disagreements, arguing, fighting, quarrels. Yeah.
All little things are we get together and discuss, and he's really loud and exploded, and it's not easy. And if I ask him if he want to come with me and our boy to the playground, he stay at home and don't come with us and take his. Also he zurückziehen.
Yeah, step back.
Yeah, he stepped back and isolated him from us, and I'm alone with my son. He's not. He was not really a part of us no more.
Yeah, so I think isolation, withdrawal, they're common symptoms, common tendencies that are observed with people in PTSD, and they're real signs that people do need assistance. And Stefan, when you put your hand up and said, I needed help, how was that received within the Bundeswehr, within the German army? How was that taken?
At the first time, you have the old guys or the old soldiers. They don't really understand it. So I think the most of us have the view, we are all soldiers, we are heroes, and nothing can happen with us. And in the first time, it was really hard, and not anybody understand that I really need help, and that I will go this way to go to the therapy. And the younger guys said, oh, that's okay, that's normal. So you have a little bit of a discussion with the generations. But after that time, also the old soldiers said to me, oh, I think I have to look what are you doing at this way, because it's very interesting. And so more and more it's getting normal that also the older guys or the older soldiers said, okay, that's a part of the therapy, and it's okay to go to someone and looking or get help from a therapist.
Yeah, and upon putting your hand up and seeking help, you took some time out of the army to take care of your recovery?
Yes, that's right. So I was at home 1.5 years, and the only thing I have to do is to go to the doctor to learn to live in a family. it's also the life of your family goes on when you're on a mission. And when you come back, we have to learn to get back integrated in this family, to find a new place in the family. And that was the thing what I done in the first time. And after 1.5 years, I said to the doctor, sorry, but first I will say thank you for the time at home. But now I want to try to go back to the army because I want to know, can I be a soldier anymore? And so the first time or the first days, I started with 4 hours, 3 days a week. And after that, it get more and more and more. And now I'm most complete integrated because I have 1 day in the week. I will stay at home after the therapy, and so I can calm down and get prepared for the next day.
And Evelyn, how did you find that for Stefan? He'd been off work for 1.5 years and then the therapy and then back part-time. How did you find that journey and that process of Stefan getting help and going back to work?
I was really proud of him that he has gone the way to the doctor because it's not easy to say something is wrong with me. And yeah.
And the first time I don't tell her that I went to the doctor and said, sorry, but I need help. She understand it after I said, no, I don't go to work on Monday.
Yes.
That's when you couldn't hide it anymore. It was, I'm not going to work, so you need a reason why you're going to be at home. Yeah. And Evelyn, what changes did you see? What changes did you see in Stefan over that period?
Yes, kind of parties.
He goes with us to parties and to little parties from the kindergarten, from the children, or school parties. He goes with us to holidays, and he make a lot of things with us. And he's getting cool down more and more. And but when he not go every week to the psychologist, I feel it's not good for him. He needs it anymore. Halten.
Sorry, man.
That's okay. We've got all the time you want.
Yes, when he go to the doctor, every time he's relaxed and he do that a lot of things with us, and is a part of the family, and he's presented the family. He's not alone in the corners, and he's presented. He plays with the kids. He talks with us, and you really, it's merken.
Realized.
Yeah, you realize it's good for him.
It is.
Yeah. Our daughter is last year. It was the last year. In 2022, it was the last year of our daughter's kindergarten, and he has the closing ceremony. Yes, and I want to go alone with the child to them because I do a lot of things alone. I have to learn anymore that I integrate him to us because we are me and the children, and he was always alone and don't want to go with us, and I have to learn now to integrate him because I don't want to want a lot too much from him to belasten. To overload him, yes, I don't want to overload him. So I don't ask him if he want to go to the closing party from Amelie. And then we want to go, and he say, I want to go with you. And what, you do want to go with us? Yes, it's the last day from the kindergarten from my daughter, and I want to go with you. Oh, I was crying, and I was so happy because he said from him that he want to go with us. And it's very important for him to come with us. And this was really nice for me. Yes.
Yeah, very important, I'm sure, and very good to have him back as a family man, no longer isolated, present and part of the family. I've got a young daughter myself. She's only 4 months old, so I can imagine the importance of that one.
Yes, I think sorry, Matt. I think a problem of PTSD is you can't go to big groups like you did it before. And it's to learn how long you can go there. So it's not the way to say, I don't want to go there. After a period, you have to try it because you are part of the family. And I know that I'm not the father for my children like before or when I'm healthy, but I try it. And this is what the children see, and they accept it. So after the years, they understand that her father is ill or is sick, but they see that you try it, and that's okay for the kids.
Yeah, I'm sure it makes a massive difference after the experience you've had and where you've come from. And your kids, Max, he's 10 now, yeah. Amelie's 7. So they've grown up seeing you with your PTSD, living with that, but then also involved in Invictus at 2017, 2018, and right through to now. So what's their experience been of watching you come through that process and recover and become more and more the person you are?
I think they are very proud of me because they see it's not important what do you have for illness or sickness. You can show them a way up from a dark side that every one of us will have in his life. And the other thing is we can learn a lot of our children, because when you have a father in a wheelchair and the kids want to play football, they find a solution to play with the father in the wheelchair to playing football. And we are the people who put people with sickness or illness in some. We put people with sickness or illness in a drawer and say, no, they can't do the thing like a normal people. And children or kids don't do that. They will find a solution to play together, to do something together. And this is what I think we can learn from kids or from children.
Absolutely. I think kids have got a great approach to a lot of things, and that's one area where they're very accepting, and we certainly can take a leaf out of their book. Stefan, tell me about when you were back with the Bundeswehr after your recovery. You were in part-time service, and then you came across sports recovery, and you actually became involved in that within the German army.
I said to the doctor, I have a really big problem with my weight. So I getting over 30 kilos more after the rehabilitation. And the doctor said to me, oh, there's a program on the sports school in Warndorf. Go there and try to get in this program. So the Bundeswehr have a program with the Center of Sports Medicine of the Bundeswehr and the sports school. They are stationed in Warndorf, and it's more like a program, not only 1 week or 2 weeks. You have to go there and everything is fine after that. So I went to Warndorf and said, sorry, I have a problem. I have PTSD and I have some problems with my body because of the weight. And they integrated me to this program, or they invited me to this program. And in the Bundeswehr, it is so, we have a law for soldiers. They're getting sick or they're getting wounded or something like that on a mission. And the first target is the rehabilitation, to get back to a social life, but also to get back to the military. So they integrated this rehabilitation process not only at home, also in the days, in every day of the military when I would go to work. And we have to go there every half a year, and we show them that we do our therapies, we're doing our sports, and after some time, you get invited from the Center of Sports Medicine, but also from the School of Sports, to be a part of the INVICTUS Games or some other big events. We are also there. So I was very proud that in 2017 they called me and asked me if I want to get a competitor at the INVICTUS Games in 2017.
Excellent. And how did it feel to get that call after being involved in sports recovery? What was it like to get the phone call?
Yes, that was great because it was one day before Christmas, and that was a nice present to Christmas to be a part of the INVICTUS Games in 2017.
Yeah, I bet it was. Stefan. It would have been absolutely magical. Your INVICTUS journey started there at Toronto 2017. What were your chosen sports? What did you get into for that particular games?
Oh, I was there and I tried cycling, sitting volleyball, and discus. And the most of these sports I didn't do before, like sitting volleyball. And that was great to learn other sports you did before, because in sitting volleyball, it is not important what do you have, because all of us are also on the ground. And sometimes you can see that soldiers with other injury are better than you because you have all of your legs or all of your arms. So that's really crazy to understand it, that in sometimes people, they are sick or ill, are better than you.
So you're able-bodied in terms of having all your limbs available, but because they've been practicing and they're focusing on their remaining limbs, they can outcompete you as an able-bodied athlete. Phenomenal.
Yes, yeah.
And 2017 led you on to 2018, and that's when you had the honour of being the Germany team captain for Sydney 2018.
Yes, that's right. And that was also a big pleasure for me, because we have from the ranks from soldier up to a general, and they voted for me as a team captain. So it's not normal that NCO is automatically the team captain, and that was great for me that they give me the chance to be the team captain for them in 2018.
And how did you enjoy being down under in Sydney, Australia?
Oh, it was really cool because it's a long way from Germany to Sydney, and it's not normal for us to go there on a vacation or something like that. And we enjoyed it a lot because the people there, they was so open-minded up to us, and everyone asked us, what are the Invictus Games? Oh, you are a competitor, and after that, automatically you get the word "thank you for your service," and that is a thing that German soldiers are hearing not very often from our own guys. Yes.
Yeah, I know the situation in Germany with veteran recognition is very different to Australia, and we can touch on that in just a moment and where we are in 2023 before the Düsseldorf Games. But following 2018 in Sydney, you had an opportunity to compete in 2022 in The Hague, but in fact you gave that opportunity up to a fellow competitor so that he could enjoy the Games.
Yes, normal is that the Invictus Games Foundation said to you that you can only be a competitor twice. And in 2019, we were in London, and I was asked if it is a problem for me, don't compete anymore at the Invictus Games. And I said no, because I will give my spot to someone other that he or she can also improve her life like me. And that's only impossible with the feelings you get at the Invictus Games and and when you get a part of this Invictus family. And I think that this is a big special what other sports competition don't have. So on the sports side, the Invictus Games are like the Paralympics or like the Olympic Games, so from the standards. But the Invictus Games are the only thing I know where the family and friends are also VIPs like the competitors. And you can feel that when you come to Düsseldorf and open your heart and mind and try to get the feelings there.
Yeah, I love that part about the Games. I love the fact that the competition is one part of it, but the camaraderie, the bonds and the community and friendships that come out of it are just as big. And Evelyn, you were there in Toronto in 2017 and also in Sydney 2018. Did you travel to those games?
Yes, I have traveled. In 2017, we were there with our children. Yes, our son was enjoying it really, and he looking forward to these games in Düsseldorf this year. We're taking them with us. And in Sydney, I was with Stefan's sister Daniela. It was different because with the children I don't have so much time to enjoy everything, and Sydney was really nice for me. I was for me alone and enjoy the spirits and everything and taking part on every game, and yes, it both games was really special for me. Yes, but in Toronto we have a really big community. We have a lot of friends there, and yes, we are also together with these people, and it's a really it's for me there are people I can talk. If I have a problem, I can go to them and can say, "Hey, how is it? How have I to handle it?" You have someone who understands you. There are a lot of people who have the same problems because their men are on the same position, and you understand all together, and you don't have to explain something about your feelings or your behavior. And that was really, really good for me and for our life. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most heart-touching parts to come out of it, that you can be there, meet people, you don't need to explain what's going on, you just get it. And then you can be friends from then on. Have you kept in touch with anybody from previous games?
Yes.
Yes, we are also in contact with some competitors from 2017 from New Zealand, but also with one guy from Australia. It's Matthew also. And we're still in contact. And this is not normal. That's camaraderie. So after the games, the connection don't stop. So it's normal that people in Germany and people in Australia or in America stop the conversation because the life is going on. But in this family, in this Invictus family, it's not normal. So nobody is sad why you don't write in every day or every week. So you can have a break from 3 months, and after 3 months you will write to them, and it's okay for them. And that's not normal. And I'm also excited to see people in Düsseldorf. They were with us in Sydney when they are competing there. And that's something special that I think only the Invictus Games will have.
So, Stefan, let's touch on Düsseldorf now, because that's kicking off in just a few days' time on the weekend. What's the feeling like there in the German community, in the Bundeswehr and the German service community? What are the thoughts and feelings about Düsseldorf?
Oh, at the moment, I think for the project team, there's a lot of stress at the moment, because the volunteers now are there. The First Nations are there or will come today. So for them, it's a little bit, or they are a little bit busy at the moment. But the rest of us are very proud that the games will start in a few days. So when you went through Düsseldorf, in the first days, nobody talked to you in uniform. In the first days, it was, what? Why are soldiers here in Düsseldorf? And I would like to say the last 12 months, it changed completely. So you're sitting in a bus, and people will come to you and say also, thank you for your service, and we are really excited to see you at the Invictus Games. And that's a thing we can be proud of it. We are getting also there over 1,500 kids from school. The widest are some schools from the Netherlands. They will come to Düsseldorf and visit the Invictus Games. So you have the younger generation. They are also included to the Invictus Games and to the Bundeswehr to show them, to give a little respect to people who are serving or doing the job for the government or something like that.
Yeah, that really is good to hear that there's some good recognition and certainly respect being shown. And the motto for the Games is Home for Respect this year in Düsseldorf, which I think captures the spirit beautifully.
Yes. That's one thing I would like to say to a Home for Respect, because first, I know that the games are only for soldiers, but I think for Germany it is really good that we are included 3 policemen or policewomen, 1 firefighter from Düsseldorf. They got also PTSD, and to show the other governments what the Bundeswehr is doing for their soldiers, so that the other governments can also learn from the Bundeswehr. That's also important, to give a policeman or to give a firefighter the same respect as they will give to us.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Stefan. The emergency services personnel, of course, they see action very frequently. Whilst it's on deployments ordinarily that we'll see that sort of action and danger and injury, it's our emergency services every day of the week out there putting their lives at risk for the people, for us.
Yes, that's right.
I think it's also important today we touch on the situation with the veteran movement and, in fact, the recognition of veterans in that term itself, and a national day for recognition within Germany. The German nation is quite different from the way veterans are recognised in Germany is quite different to how it occurs in English-speaking countries. There's currently no recognition or commemoration day for veterans in Germany. I know that's been a hot topic that's been debated in politics and across the community for over 10 years now.
Yes, that's right. In Germany, we have one day, it's called the Volkstrauertag. And the thing is, on this day, you have the commemorating the death of the world wars. So it's all the view is more to the world wars, and we would like to find a day for the newer generation. And so we have the it's called Deutscher Bundeswehrverband. They went to the federal minister of defense and said to him, it's time to do a day for the veterans from the Kosovo or from the Afghanistan missions, to show them the respect. And I think that's important to start or to start this discussion. And now it's on the politics to think about it and to find a date for us veterans to show them the respect that they needed.
Yeah, I know that's been a hot topic debate for quite a few years now, and I really hope that following Invictus in Düsseldorf 2023 that there's the impetus and there's enough momentum, enough public debate to finally give you that day of recognition for those who've served in Germany.
Yes.
And how do you feel about that particular topic? Or how do you feel about that, Evelyn? You've been on the Invictus journey with Stefan. You've seen him through his service, PTSD and recovery. And unlike Australia, the US, or numerous other countries, there's currently no Veterans Day in Germany. How do you feel about that, and what do you think can be done on that front?
Yeah, I think it's important because they gave a lot for the country, and they always have to get the respect and the memory that the soldiers. In Germany, the soldiers are not so present for the people. Every soldier. If you go to the street, you mostly never seen a soldier in uniform. It's special if you see a soldier in this city, and every people are looking at them. Soldiers don't have a good community in Germany. And that's wrong. And I think the people have to understand that there are normal people and doing a lot for the country, and because that they are present in that they're a part of us. Yeah.
I think that's important for us to find a date where we can come together. We can be proud of that, what we've done on the missions. And so the mindset have to change, because the world wars are part of our history, and that's important to don't forget this. But I think we are a complete other generation at the moment, and also the newer soldiers. And I think that's the time to give them the respect, because the missions in Afghanistan, it's ended. Now we have some comrades in Kosovo, or at the moment in Mali. But Mali will also end in the future, and that's our new history. And for me, it is so that when we get Veterans Day, that this guys, the last 20 or 30 years, are on the focus on this day.
Well, I hope the Games this year is the impetus to do that, and I hope in the very near future you have an announcement and you have that Veterans Day there for yourselves and for the community to respect and to commemorate the service of men like you, Stefan.
Yes, I hope so. And I think we are on a good way to find a date for this Veterans Day or something like that called. And the first step is done to discuss about it. So we will see what the future will bring to us.
Well, I hope things go very well for you, and I'll be watching for developments from Australia.
Yeah. Thanks. We need everyone. We need everyone to help us and to show the government how other countries do that. And it's not to be a hero. No, it's to give all of them the respect they needed for that, what they've done, and also for the new soldiers.
In Australia, from my perspective, we have a National Day of Commemoration known as Anzac Day, which goes back to our World War I soldiers. And that's been in place for over 100 years now, and I can't imagine that day not being in the calendar. It's one of the most important days, not just for those who've served, but for the entire nation. And in particular, following Iraq and Afghanistan, where we have a lot of younger veterans now, it's extremely important that we have that day and we can recognise the service of our military personnel. And I can't imagine being someone who did 18 years in Navy and Air Force myself and not having a day like that in Australia. So, I'm feeling for you, and I can imagine it's quite difficult, and it's something that needs to be addressed. That's okay. There's one other thing I wanted to go past, and if you don't mind, I'll just record on my side screen over here. There was a quote that you told me on Friday about getting help from Prince Harry.
It was in 2018 at the Invictus Games, and it's also in a video from Sydney. And he was on a stage, and he said, "It's very hard to ask for help, but it's very simple to get help." And there he wanted to show that you don't have to fight the way back in a normal life alone. It was to show all of the competitors and the family and friends that you don't have to go this hard way alone. Ask for help, you will get help. And that's what Evelyn said before. In the first days in the rehabilitation, she don't have a group where she can ask, how is it with your man at home? How is it with your man with PTSD? It was the first time on a family's weekend we get before the Invictus Games, where we stayed at a hotel with others sick, ill, or wounded soldiers, and we are sitting in a circle in the evening and talk together. And that was the first time that Evelyn understand that she's not alone, and that's the help what Harry mean. And this was the inner circle, I would like to say. And when you're going to the Invictus Games, you will see that there's a bigger circle. The first circle is only in Germany, and when you see that you can cross the borders and you see that other families in the world have the same problems like us, you see that you are not alone. And that's the Invictus family called. And this is what Harry means some days, as he said, this short sentence.
I love it, guys. Yeah, I wish every wounded, injured and sick veteran could get there. I wish so many could get out there and enjoy that experience, you know. So important, I think. Stefan, just 3 more questions for you, if you don't mind, when we wrap up. There's 3 questions I've been asking everybody on the show here. And the first one for you is, what's been your favourite moment of your Invictus experience across all the games and everything you've done so far?
I remember in 2017 at the opening ceremony, we are sitting on the ground at the ceremony, and that was the first time I realized that I'm sick or ill. And after that day, I can say to myself, okay, you have a problem and you have to live with that problem. My life changed. So this is for me the important thing I've learned, and it's for me the important day in my life.
If there's somebody listening to this podcast today and they're a veteran and they're suffering from a mental or physical injury and they're thinking about getting involved in adaptive sports, what would your message be to them?
Try it. To try what you want to do, because there is a way to do sports. You have to find the way how you can do that sport you want to do. So try it and you will find a way. It's no reason to say I can't play football anymore, or I can do archery anymore. That's a way. You have only to do it and you will find a way.
And last question for you. If we go forward 10 years into the future, even 5 years into the future, what are you going to be doing? What's your career going to hold? What does your family life hold? What can you see?
I hope that in 5 or in 10 years, my family life is the same as at the moment. I hope that I will become a better father at the moment. So I have learned a lot of things anymore. And I hope that we have a Veterans Day and the Invictus family is bigger as at the moment.
Absolutely. Here's hoping, hey? Well, guys, thank you for joining in again today. I know it's been some coordination to get this episode in. I know we've had a few delays, but it's really been a pleasure. I've really enjoyed having you on and really hearing about how important this is in 2023 for Germany and for those who've served in Germany. So thank you. And I think the last thing I'll touch on is just a message for the Boeing team. This podcast has been made possible really by some excellent efforts from the communications team in Australia and internationally. Boeing is a lead partner this year for Düsseldorf 2023. We have very comprehensive veterans networks in Australia and internationally. And I think the values really align quite closely with where Invictus is heading. and with the support efforts that Boeing's been putting in over many years. So it's really a pleasure of me to put this podcast on for Boeing. And I want to thank the communications team in particular for all their effort arranging these interviews, different hours around the clock in Germany, the USA, UK, and of course, my fellow Australians. So thank you for joining the episode, Stefan and Evelyn. I hope you have a tremendous time in Düsseldorf, and I hope the games goes off like an absolute firecracker, and it's an amazing time for everybody.
Matthew, I would like to say thank you that we are part of this podcast and you give us the platform to tell our stories and to tell the others how is it going in Germany, to show the others where we are good, but where we also can learn from the other nations. So thank you for this opportunity to tell our stories.
You are more than welcome. Take care and enjoy the games. So that's the episode with Stefan and Evelyn, and that also concludes the 5-part series on the Invictus Games 2023 for this year. I'd like to say a huge thanks for all the guests I've had on the show: David Wiseman, Rachel Kerrigan, Keontae Story, Francine Dudfield, and of course, Evelyn and Stefan Huss just then. I'd also like to call out a special thanks to INVICTUS Games Düsseldorf, Invictus Australia, and the INVICTUS Games Foundation for your tireless work and all the energy and effort that goes into these games to making such a phenomenal event and to sending the message that there is hope, that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and there is a transformation out there for those who are suffering. It's been an honour for me to take this series to you this year. Such a phenomenal journey I've had with all the 5 guests, and it's been an absolute privilege and a pleasure of mine. Lastly, if you are from an organisation looking to partner with the work that Service and Beyond podcast does, I am interested in making contact. You can get in touch with me at my email, matthew@serviceandbeyond.com, or you can find me, Matthew Dank, on LinkedIn. Okay, thank you for joining me for this series, and until next time, take care.